Thank you very much for coming. This is great. Catherine didn't mention I have another mental illness, which I really have not talked about before. It's called public speaking disorder. It's a major anxiety disorder, but I'm working on it. I think I'm going to start with a very embarrassing dating story. Just to give you a little background, I'm single. I've been looking to meet someone special. And a few months ago, you wonder where this is going. A few months ago, I met a great woman, and we went on 2 fabulous dates, and it was our 3rd date, and so she invited me over for dinner. I was really excited and nervous, and got a nice bottle of red wine, and went to her house, and she made this amazing lamb dinner for me, which was fabulous, and we were getting along really well, and laughing and joking and talking, and we were getting closer and closer, and there was chemistry, and she gave me this really great big hug, which was really nice. And as she was hugging me, she suddenly pulled away. And she pointed to my chest, and she said, What is that strange thing? And at that moment, my heart totally sunk. I felt totally awkward. I thought about trying to make a joke, but I realized I had to tell the truth. And what I told her is that this is a battery pack that's connected to electrodes in my brain, because I was the 21st person in the world to have this experimental treatment for a brutal depression I'd had for 4 years, which literally destroyed my life. And that was 3 years ago, and that lasted for about four years that were not so fun. I told her this, and she was totally floored and totally stunned. But you know what? She was totally okay with it. And one of the things obviously we're here to talk about stigma. With mental illness, we have this fear of talking about our illness. But her reaction was phenomenal, and it felt so good to be able to talk about it with her, with a date. And it feels I feel honored that I can discuss it with you guys today, and I'm so happy you guys came to this, because this is awesome. So this whole event. So as a child, ironically, I was a very happy kid growing up. I had a really amazing family, great friends. I love sports, really big time into hockey. The only thing I had to be embarrassed about is that I had this really huge red afro that was this big and tons of acne. So, and then my afro would stick out of my hockey helmet. So I wasn't playing a lot of spin the bottle for those years. But other than that, I was a happy kid. And in grade 9, I was a pretty good hockey player. I was playing on one of the top Toronto hockey teams. And at the time, I don't know if you guys remember, it was a long time ago, your teachers will remember, but in 1980, the U.S. Olympic team won the gold medal, and it was a big deal, and their assistant hockey coach came to coach our team for 2 weeks, which for me was a dream. So I didn't want to miss one single day of that hockey. But I had a really bad cold, which turned into pneumonia, but I kept playing, and I got this virus called Guillain-Barré syndrome, which paralyzed me from head to toe. So for a year, I was in the hospital, and I couldn't move. That was super scary, and I was scared. I was anxious. I wondered what was going to happen to me, but I wasn't depressed at all. And I actually was, just to show what a positive kid I was, I knew that I was going to get better, even though the odds were that I wouldn't. And just an example of that, I had this buddy. She was quadriplegic. She'd been in a car accident and was a hockey player as well. And she was in the hospital with me, and we'd always joke around and watch hockey together on the TV. And one day we're both in our electric wheelchairs, chatting and laughing and talking. And suddenly, me being a stupid 14-year-old kid, I look at her and I say, "What's it like being paralyzed and being paralyzed for the rest of your life?" And she looked at me and she said, "Dude, look in the mirror, like you're fully paralyzed." And that's how completely unaware I was of my circumstances and how resilient I was as a kid. So, depression this is just a sign of, it is a chemical thing. So anyways, I did get better. I was very lucky. The only thing I had was some foot drop, which didn't allow me to play any more hockey. That was the negative, but the positive was I had my life back. It was like a honeymoon. I went back to school. I got sympathy from girls, which was a wonderful thing, and always good for sympathy. Note that. And then high school and university were wonderful. You can't hear it? Oh, okay. High school and university were a wonderful thing for me because I'd had my life back. But after university, I lost my way. That was the first experience I had with depression. I'd always been a guy who was energetic and full of life and exercised, and suddenly I just felt blah. I felt like I didn't care. I was totally bored. I didn't have any ambition, any passion. And I'd spend most of every day on the third floor of my parents' house watching TV all day and binge eating all day. And at night I'd just go partying, get drunk with my buddies. And I was doing that constantly. And so that's when people really started to worry about me, especially my parents. So they sent me to a psychiatrist. And the psychiatrist spent about 20 minutes with me, and was a really nice guy, super guy. But he basically, after 20 minutes, it was the 80s, and Prozac had just come out. It was this hot new drug, and he was like, "Take this thing, you're going to feel better." And in hindsight, what I know now is I wonder what would have happened if he would have said to me, or if I would have gone to other doctors and found the right one that was good for me, and they would have said, "You know what, Sean? Maybe you want to stop drinking every night. Maybe you want to exercise, which again, maybe you want to eat well. All that plus talk about the issues that had happened when I was paralyzed, etc." But that didn't happen. But what did happen is the Prozac actually really worked. As Amy said, it was unbelievable. Within 3 weeks, my life was completely back, and I was having a fantastic life within a month and a half, even better than before. I got my dream job. I love movies. It's one of my favorite passions, and I got a job with a film company, and my job was to travel all over North America and sell and market movies, and I was really good at it, and it was fun. Plus, I had a wonderful relationship with a woman, which was great. And also the Blue Jays won 2 World Series then, which you'll never see again. It was unbelievable, I'll tell you. Can't beat that. So things were great. The only issue was that the Prozac caused really bad sexual side effects, and I couldn't handle that. So I went off the medication. But